the Miller Center for Community Protection and Resilience has been instrumental to the success of tonight's program. We are immensely grateful for their continued support and appreciative of their involvement in creating numerous innovative March of the Living programs that have significantly contributed to expanding Holocaust awareness globally. The Maimonides Institute for Medicine, Ethics, and the Holocaust was founded on the premise that the only way to truly preserve the legacy of those who perished or whose lives were changed irrevocably at the hands of Nazi medicine is to use the lessons of the past to inform how we can and should act today, to foster a personal and professional ethos that values the protection of human rights and the central principles of ethics first and foremost, and to empower the next generation to understand the necessity of standing up and speaking out whenever injustice is present. The lessons of the Holocaust transcend traditional boundaries. They are international, intergenerational, interfaith, and interprofessional. Holocaust education can and should be universally relevant and serve to promote justice and tolerance, equality, and human dignity for all. During the past year, the world has struggled with challenges that call into question our core ethical values. We are facing a global pandemic that has resulted in proposed modifications to basic moral principles at varying levels within healthcare politics, public policy, the media, and general society. Systemic inequalities that emphasize the hierarchy of human life that has long been present in society have come to the forefront of our debate. At the same time, we are experiencing a troubling rise in anti-Semitism, racism, and other forms of discrimination and hate crimes, as well as a lack of knowledge regarding the Holocaust. At this defining point in human history, we are presented with unprecedented challenges. We must be able to use the lessons of the past, those from another defining point in human history, to inform our actions, shape our present, and create a better future. Just as we must learn from the past in order to address our current issues, so we must learn from each other. Hearing the varied and diverse voices that make up the narrative of medicine, ethics, and the Holocaust, those of the victims, the survivors, the perpetrators, and the scholars, are essential to truly understanding the complex nature of this topic. Weaving together this type of comprehensive approach entails the cooperation of many. We are grateful to our partners at the International March of the Living, the Miller Center for Community Protection and Resilience at Rutgers University, Teva Pharmaceuticals, and the USC Shoah Foundation for their tireless efforts to promote Holocaust education. We also want to thank each and every person who contributed their voice to this project. In particular, I would be remiss not to mention Dr. David Maklis, Vice Chairman of the March of the Living and Project Manager Extraordinaire. David has put his heart and soul into making this program a success, and it has been an honor and a privilege to work with and learn from him. The broad array of perspectives that you will hear over the next 90 minutes will paint a vivid picture of the power and privilege of medicine and the ways in which they can be used for good or for evil. You will hear about the darkest period in the history of medicine, perhaps in the history of humankind, but you will also hear stories about those who find a way to shine their light. And while the challenges and conditions of the COVID-19 pandemic are vastly different than those faced by medical doctors and nurses during the Holocaust, you will hear about how the lessons of the Holocaust have shaped our response to this crisis. While we cannot physically be together this Yom HaShoah, we are proud to stand with our partners all over the world, international medical associations, universities, and healthcare systems, as we look to medicine and morality as a way to reflect on the past and protect the future while appreciating the miraculous work of our healthcare professionals during this global pandemic.